Skip Bayless goes on a popular sports podcast and speaks further on the breakup of him and Shannon Sharpe on Undisputed. Let's listen.
I can't say anymore. I'm probably already in trouble for mentioning it to a, well, we call you normies.
This clip here is about 2 days old. It is from the Pardon My Take podcast on YouTube. And this man you see right here on your screen, his name is Dan Katz, also known as Big Cat on the show. And he asks Skip Bayless about the breakup of him and Shannon Sharpe and about the camaraderie they had, I guess, prior to the demise of the show. Or also he asked him what happened about that whole dust up with him and Shannon about the Tom Brady incident, right? And Skip alludes to the fact that they actually talked offset afterwards, after this show, and they were cool after this whole thing happened. So I want y'all to listen in. Of course, I'm going to pause it in between for my commentary and criticism, of course. And a link will be in the description box for this video. For all you stop playing the video ninjas, for all of you stop pausing the video ninjas.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you.
We don't care.
The link will be down there. You can watch it without my interruption or pausing, all right? We're going to get into this video, and because it is on YouTube, I have to give my fair use clause. So before we get started, fair use.
Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
Yeah. So and you obviously leave FS1. What is it, a month or two ago?
Yeah.
The ending with Shannon, people talk about. Are there any regrets there? Because obviously it felt like what you were talking about, where PFT9, we don't fight off air, but it felt like it was kind of a real fight on air at times. And viewers can see that and feel that, and that's where it might turn a little bit.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
Trust me on this. I love that guy. And we were together for 7 years in a very different way than you guys are together, because we took it up a notch from Stephen A. and I. Because in the end, Stephen A. is more of a showman, an entertainer.
Now, I agree with him. Skip and Shannon did up the ante of, sports commentary, if you will, the duo, like Stephen A. and Skip, the whole duo, arguing and talking about sports and things of that nature. Skip and Shannon did take it up a notch, in my opinion, and respected them for that. However, again, the on-air arguments that they used to have seemed to be personal up until the last one they had, which seemed very personal, and which Shannon got very upset. And of course, the rest is history. But I believe that I believe that Skip still does have a level of respect for Shannon, because in my opinion, and in many people's opinion, the show wouldn't have been what it was without Shannon. That's no disputing that. Pun intended.
So our debates could be a little sillier than the ex-pro football player now in the Hall of Fame versus me, because I do know football, and I would take it to whatever depth Shannon wanted to go to on X and O football. Wherever he wanted to go, I'll go there, because I learned from a lot of great people in this business. I learned from Don Shula and Bill Walsh and Tom Landry and Jimmy Johnson. I know football. I don't know the jargon that Shannon knows about 22-man and bomb blitz and whatever the Denver Broncos used or the Baltimore Ravens used for jargon, but we would get into it about football, and he would get miffed occasionally that I would dare to go that deep with him about football when I didn't play football. Mm-hmm. And I've said this from day one. My experience debating pro football or basketball players is the greater they were at playing, sometimes the less they actually can explain about why that or that or that happened. Because
now, I agree with him what he's saying here. Like, just because you played it doesn't necessarily mean that you know it, I guess, from a tactical perspective, I guess. Now, your experience absolutely matters. But Skip knows the game from a different perspective. He's learned it on paper versus somebody like Shannon, which actually played the game. So Shannon might not be able to explain things properly where Skip can, but Shannon has the experience that Skip doesn't. And, well, again, that came together to make a great show. Skip is saying here that, you know what? He's saying that, just because I didn't play it doesn't mean I don't know it. And to be fair, he has a point. Now, I believe sometimes that made him arrogant because of the fact that he thought he had more knowledge, on paper, I guess, or in his brain than somebody that actually played the game and experienced it. And I think that's where a lot of the really heated debates came from, because Skip thought he knew more. But you got an athlete on the other side that says, well, how can you know more and you haven't played it? The experience factor. So it's like, just because you know it doesn't mean you know it, if you understand what I mean.
Because not that they didn't work hard, but it came so naturally to them that they can't see or feel exactly why it works. See Michael Jordan as the team builder in Charlotte, who was the biggest disaster of a general manager in the history of sports.
Now, he's not lying there, okay? I got to be honest. Michael Jordan, number one GOAT in my opinion, general manager, owner of a team. No. Remember sound effect? No. Absolutely not. But hey, he's still a millionaire, probably a billionaire, so do what you want.
The greatest performer and player in the history of sports was the worst team builder in the history of sports for those many years in Charlotte, because he couldn't see why can he play and he can't, because he was too supremely gifted at what he did.
Yeah.
Okay, so we would clash occasionally on the football part. Don't you understand? I'm in the hall. Yeah, I get it. I understand, but that doesn't mean I can't have an opinion that's correct about whether he can or can't play. So my point is, I loved every minute with Shannon, but we took it to levels of supreme debate where it went right to the edge and occasionally slightly over the edge of competitive.
Yeah.
Now, in my opinion, him saying that they took it over the edge of being competitive. Now, in my opinion, you out there, the viewer, can interpret this however you want. In my opinion, that is Skip acknowledging and, dare I say, admitting that he stepped over the line several times, that you, Skip, took it too far. Now, not to say that Shannon might not have either in his own way, but we were looking at you because you were the analyst. Shannon was the experience. And in some of those debates, jabs were thrown on both sides, but Skip was usually the one that started to step over the line in many of those debates, many of those arguments. Just my opinion.
To where we got mad at each other. And by the 7th year, it's a long time, man. We had some great runs. We did some big ratings numbers, trust me, that will never be touched again in FS1 history, I doubt. God bless them, but I doubt it. But the point was that, yeah, in year 7, did we fray a little bit? Sure we did. But I fought for him to stay, and I don't know what happened between Shannon and the people upstairs because I was not privy.
Right.
But
do y'all believe that Skip didn't have anything to do with Shannon's departure? I don't know. Skip has said on multiple occasions that he didn't have anything to do with Shannon leaving, and maybe he did. Maybe Shannon just said, you know what, it's time for me to step back and go on to bigger and better things. The only people that actually know is Skip and Shannon. So, well, in this case, the only person that actually knows is Skip. So we'll leave it at that.
But he went before I went, and it tore me apart.
Yeah.
I did not want him to go. And I told him the last day, I sat with him in his dressing room and I said, I envy you because you're going to get to go do what I want to do.
Right.
I still had a year left on my deal. And he got pushed out the back door and it tore me up and I missed him. And
So what would happen when you would go? I like the idea of supreme debate. By the way, it's like it's almost like Nirvana. You've reached the higher path. It's like an ayahuasca of debate.
Yeah.
You've gone through the wall.
True.
But what would happen when it would get frayed a little, like the famous, obviously the Tom Brady, that moment. When
That was the moment.
Yeah, that was the moment. But what happens after the cameras are off? Is it fuck you? Is it don't talk for a while? Like what? Tell us as viewers how that comes back together a little bit, or did it not come back together?
I showed him from day one in 2016, shortly after you guys had started. Our first day was September 6th, 2016. We were
March 2016.
6 months old.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were about 6 months ahead of us.
Okay.
I tried to make him understand because I handpicked him because I really thought he could do this, and he can do it and did do it because Shannon works hard at the craft. He was always prepared and always on time and always there for me. And I love him for that, and I will be forever grateful to him for what he gave to me for 7 great years, or maybe 6.5-ish, because now to these incidents, the one. Okay, so.
Well, Skip is giving respect to Shannon for the time he gave and the effort that he put into it. And Shannon Sharp said this after he left. He's like, you know what? Now he gets to kind of unwind and now kind of do his own thing, because on that show every day he had to watch games when he wasn't on the show. He had to watch the games. He had to watch film. He had to get the stats and analyze and things of that nature. So even though he was on the show, he was never really off. You know what I mean? Most like these analysts, Skip, Stephen A., other people, they're always watching games. So they can have an opinion on what's going on. So they can't just step on there Monday without watching no football games and give a take on something, because it would be fraudulent. So essentially, your life is consumed with sports 24/7, whether you're on the camera or off the camera. And so, respect. Shannon gave his time to the show. And like Skip said, they probably won't get the ratings of that they had while they was on. Maybe they won't. That dynamic, that duo that they have doesn't come around much often, much like when Skip was on with Stephen A. Stephen A. hasn't found that mix yet. Now, he's found it with Shannon, but Shannon just moved from one show to another. You see what I'm saying? So to find an original duo like that, I doubt they won't find an original duo like that for a very long time, whether it's on ESPN or FS1.
I think I misunderstood some of what he was saying, but what we're talking about Brady, and I'm a Brady fan. I don't even know Tom Brady.
We know.
I mean, he won 7 of these.
Yeah.
And I can make a case he should have won 8, because I still don't understand why Bill Belichick benched Malcolm Butler for the Philly Super Bowl. I don't get it. I've not heard a rational, reasonable explanation of what happened. Nope. But he played the most snaps on defense, and then he doesn't play any snaps in the Super Bowl, and I don't get it. Something must have happened behind the scenes, but both Tom and Malcolm said nothing happened behind the scenes. My point is, it's hard to rip that. It's hard to criticize that as savagely as Shannon began to criticize Tom Brady.
Now, this is where most people will lose Skip Bayless here, because yes, he criticized Tom Brady, but you just said in your own words that you don't even know Tom Brady. You're just a fan. I don't know if you've ever met him or had a conversation with Tom Brady, but the way you just kind of framed it, it's like you don't know Tom Brady from a can of paint. So how could you then savagely defend Brady, somebody you don't even know, right? Again, you're giving your sports take on this, not a personal take like you're like this your brother or something. You're just a fan essentially, and on the show, you're a commentator or you're an analyst, whatever you want to call it. So then Shannon said the guy had a bad game, which he did, and during that time, what did you do? You, again, crossed the line to defend a man you don't even know, just because you like him that much that you're willing to cross the line and talk about Shannon's career to defend this athlete. Cross the line.
And I just couldn't get it. And so at one point he says to me, you do understand I'm in the Hall of Fame.
And Skip was like, so what? I don't care.
Ain't no fucking way.
And I said, yeah, but you're not in this guy's universe. He won 7 Super Bowls. Nobody's in his universe.
Now, most of you watched that video, that fateful or unfaithful day when Skip Bayless said, when Shannon says, I'm in the effing Hall of Fame, and Skip says, so what? You didn't win 7 Super Bowl, blah, blah, blah. Two things can't be true, right? Shannon Sharpe is the best at what he did at his position. Brady is the best at what he does at his position. You can't put those two together, in my opinion. What you did, Skip, was say, okay, well, Shannon's not a good enough player as Brady because he didn't have enough Super Bowls, right? And you doing that was very, very disrespectful to Shannon Sharpe, okay? Actually, dare I say it's disrespectful to Tom Brady because you're trying to put these two guys in the same category. And that wasn't what Shannon was trying to say. Shannon Sharpe was trying to say, hey, man, you're starting to disrespect me. Don't forget, I'm a veteran too. I'm a legendary veteran. Okay, I know what's going on here. Brady's not playing well. Again, Skip defending a guy so savagely crossed the line on Shannon Sharpe. Bad day. Bad show.
And Shannon got mad about somehow I'm disparaging his career. Well, no, he won 3 Super Bowls and he's in the Hall of Fame. And
see, now he's trying to minimize it now. Well, no, I wasn't doing that. But it's not what you said.
There was some misunderstanding to it, but there was no lingering fight about it. And when we went to commercial, I tried to show him from day one, when we go to commercial, I'm letting all of it go.
I'm sorry for all the pause, y'all, but so you let it go. You let it go, okay? But do you realize what you said to this man? And you just say, okay, well, commercial break, I'm done with it. We're on to the next topic, right? Wow.
I'm passionate about it, but I also know the show must go on. So I'm going to walk away for a second, as I always did. I walked over to my little desk, and I began to prep for our next debate. And I let it go. People who ran the show decided we should maybe sit down after that one, and we did. And we had a great talk about it, and we hugged and went on to the next day. So we were really good.
Yeah.
We got through it, but that was the only day I can remember where he actually got mad on the air.
You could see it. And that's where it gets uncomfortable, where it's like the chemistry kind of...
And I told you, once you cross that line, audience is like, we're out.
Yeah.
So that's the danger you run when you do Supreme Debate.
That's Supreme Debate. And I needed ayahuasca after that.
Yeah.
Right?
You've reached levels that no man has ever reached in debate.
So Shannon leaves, and like we talked about, you're trying to find your foil. Good luck with that. I really hope, I mean, in my own personal dreams, I would hope that at some point you and Stephen A. somewhere down the line could link back up again.
You never know.
What's the percentage chance of that happening?
0.
Ain't no way.
No. But y'all see it right there, right? I believe they're about to go into the next topic, so I'm not going to go any further. But y'all see what's going on here, right? Skip Bayless is saying that, you know what, we were good after that, but because the audience felt that I disrespected this guy or felt like I crossed the line, we kind of like lost the show after that. No. I think it's different than that. Maybe this is Skip's interpretation, and he has the right to have that. But us, the viewer, we see it very differently. You let me know what you think about it down in the comment section, okay? I'm done with it. And with that being said, thank you for attending another episode of Normieville. You know me, I'm just a normie here to bring you the latest and greatest in sports news, entertainment, and politics. Let me know what you think about Skip Bayless' rendition or account of the events of the show leading up to the canceling of the show. Let me know what you think about it down in the comment section. And please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and the notification bell on your way out of the door. And I will see you on the next video.